Have you wanted to know how to run reports in PowerApps using Power Automate? Well, you have come to the right place. In the first demo, we will first show you how to create a flow in Power Automate to run a timesheet in PowerApps which displays hours worked for a week. Then, in the second demo, we will show you how we can use the Ask in PowerApps parameters feature in Power Automate to run a dynamic timesheet report in PowerApps. So let's get started. Let's create an app in PowerApps called Timesheet Demo. Change the background color to CC-E7F6. Insert a label. Change the text of the label to Timesheet. Change the font size of the label to 30 and center the text. Insert a label for each day of the week. Change the font size of each labels for the days of the week to 16. Insert a label for the total. Rename each label for each day of the week. The names of the labels should be named like this. Insert a rectangle and place it underneath the days of the week. Now let's go to SharePoint. Let's look at a SharePoint list called TBL_timecard. You will need to create this SharePoint list with the same column names and enter the values in each of the columns. Now let's connect to that SharePoint list. Remember, the SharePoint list is called TBL_timecard. Now let's insert a vertical gallery. Select the SharePoint list as the data source for the gallery. Change the layout of the gallery to blank. Insert a label for the employees. Change the font size of the label to 16. Click inside of the gallery and insert a label for the employee. Change the text property of the label to this item.employee. Click inside of the gallery and insert labels for the days of the week. For the Monday label, change the text property of the label to this item.monHours. Repeat this step for the rest of the days of the week. Click inside of the gallery and insert a label for the total. Change the text property of the total label to the following. Notice that our blanks in the gallery, and we need to change these blank to 0. We can use the following if statement in for each day of the week. Change the formula for each day of the week. You can see that when we use this formula, the blanks are replaced with zeros. Don't forget to change the formula for Saturday and Sunday. Now let's go back to SharePoint. Let's look at a SharePoint list called TBL_calendar. You will need to create this SharePoint list with the same column names and enter the values in each of the columns. Let's go back to PowerApps and insert a dropdown. This dropdown will display the work week from the SharePoint list called TBL_calendar. Let's connect to the SharePoint list. Select the dropdown and go to the Items property. Change the Items property to TBL_calendar. Change the value to work week. Insert a label above the dropdown and change the text of the label to select the work week. Let's insert a button. Make sure that you save the Power app. We are in Power Automate. Let's create an instant cloud flow that will run our timesheet in PowerApps. Let's call our flow the timesheet demo. Select PowerApps for the trigger of this flow. Insert a new step. Type Get Items and select the Get Items action. Select the site address. Then select the list name, which is TBL_timecard. Then insert a new step. Type Create CSV Table. And select the Create CSV Table in Data Operations. In the From section, choose the value in Dynamic Content. Change column from Automatic to Custom. Type in the columns in the header section, and select the values using Dynamic Content. Insert a new step. Type Send an email. And select the Send an email in Outlook action. In the To line, go to Dynamic Content and choose Ask in PowerApps. Type Timesheet Report in the subject and in the body. Click on Show Advanced Options. Click in the Attachments Content section, then go to Dynamic Content and select Output. Type Timesheet Report.csv in the Attachments Name section. Then save the flow. Now let's go back to PowerApps. Let's connect the flow in Power Automate. Select the Run button and add the code in the OnSelect property. Let's save the Power app. We are ready to run the report. Press the Play button and then press the Run Report button. You should have an email. Go to Outlook and open your email. Open the attachment in the email. You will see that the report contains the information from the Power App. Now let's change our Power App so that we can create a dynamic report. We need to change some of our controls. Select the dropdown and make sure the dropdown is called Workweek dropdown. Create a label underneath the timesheet label. Insert this in the text property of the label. Select the Monday label and insert this in the text property of the label, and do this to the rest of the days of the week. Insert a label for the number of the week. Make sure the label is called Week Label. Insert this in the text property of the label. Select the gallery. Change the item's property of the gallery to this. Now our Power App should be dynamic. Let's press the play button. When we choose a work week from the dropdown, the gallery will filter the employees that worked on that work week that was selected. Save the Power App and let's modify our flow in Power Automate. We need to change some things in our flow. Let's add an action to initialize a variable. In the Get Items action, modify the filter query so that it looks like this. You can use the Ask in Power Apps from dynamic content. In the Create CSV Table action, modify the headers so that it looks like this. You can use the Ask in Power Apps from dynamic content. In the Send an Email action, modify the subject so that it looks like this. You can select the VAR collection from dynamic content. Save the flow and let's go back to Power Apps. We need to change the code in the Run Report button. Select the button and make sure that the code looks like this. Now we can run our dynamic report. Check your email.